Well, today, South Korea marks the one-year anniversary of a deadly crowd crush that killed 159 people at Itaewon in downtown Seoul during Halloween celebrations. There won't be merrymaking this year at Itaewon, with families of the victims still searching for closure. Lim Yoon-suk files this report.
The room is exactly the way it was a year ago. It has been left untouched since the day Lee Sang-eun died. Her mother comes in daily to put fresh flowers in the room, say a few words and a prayer to Sang-eun, who would be 26 this year.
그냥 가끔씩 상은이가 올 수도 있지 않을까. 그리고 꼭 상은이 모습으로 오지 않더라도 올 수 있으니까 상은이 방에 이제 상은이가 왔을 때 뭔가 살아있는 느낌. 그리고 상은이 방에 꽃이 없고 살아있는 게 없으면 진짜 상은이가 없는 거라는 게 자꾸 더 많이 와닿거든요. 그래서
Sang-eun was one of the victims of the 2022 Itaewon crowd crush. She was there with a friend for a night out to celebrate the passing of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the AICPA exam, with which she was expected to further her studies in the United States. Her mom wasn't at home when the tragedy took place. She and her husband had left early that morning to go on a hiking trip with friends.
그래서 이제 알고도 있었고, 그래서 저희 놀러 가고 이제 저녁에 이제 놀러 간다고 하면서 나 신나게 놀 거니까 연락하지 말라고. 그래서 알았다 그러면서 이제 마지막에 한 9시 반 정도인가 저희가 이제 카톡을 보냈어요. 재밌게 잘 놀고 잘 들어가서 잘 자라고.
She saw the news on TV the next morning and called her daughter. There was no reply. Instead, the police answered. At first, she thought Sang-eun must have lost her phone. But then she was told that her daughter had died at Itaewon. This narrow alley was where Sang-eun and hundreds of other young people were packed into that fateful night so tightly that they could not move. Some couldn't breathe and died standing. The government released a report in January, blaming more than 20 police and other government officials for failing to take precautionary measures and bungling rescue operations. But the public, especially victims' families, question why no senior officials like the Interior Minister and Seoul City Mayor have been held accountable. And so every weekend they meet and march in downtown Seoul outside a makeshift memorial, calling for an independent investigation into the cause of the disaster.
A total of 158 people died on October 29th last year. But the South Korean government revised the death toll to 159 following the death of this 16-year-old boy. Lee Jae-yeon survived the Itaewon crush, but his two friends didn't. And more than 1 month later, he committed suicide.
Jae-hyun's mother says her son was a cheerful and talkative boy. But since the Itaewon incident, he became quiet and withdrawn and had trouble sleeping. Then one morning he went out and never returned.
그런 말들을 아예 안 하는데 죽기 전에 저한테 한 2번 정도 본인이 많이 힘들었었는지 울면서 하소연을 한 적이 있었어요. 그때 얘기를 하더라고요. 그래서 가만히 있어도 그 현장 생각이 계속 나서 수업 시간에 뭐 집중도 아예 안 되고 힘들다 이런 내용.
Ahead of Halloween this year, authorities say they have put in place new safety measures, such as setting up new crowd monitoring system, an exercise simulating a crowd crush, and the government's emergency response has also been held. But for victims' families and shop owners around here, it's hard to miss the irony. Once a popular nightlife district, Itaewon is just a shadow of its former self, with crowds a strange idea here. Lim Yoon-suk, CNA, Seoul.